Rise and shine, Apocalypse Scouts. Today we are talking about surviving in the wilderness. No matter how well you plan for the zombie apocalypse, after a few days on the go, you will need to supplement your food and water supplies. You'll also need to shelter and defend yourself against a variety of elements, including zombies, obviously, but also insects, animals, the weather, and even other survivors. When supplies run low and the situation takes a turn for the worse, what's your next move? Welcome to the jungle. I'm Crazy Conspiracy Dude, your pre-apocalyptic source for post-apocalyptic information. Using digital media to prepare for the collapse or ascendance of digital technologies, this is the art of the apocalypse.
You're listening to Radio Free Apocalypse.
Be sure to remember the rule of threes of wilderness survival. A person can survive around 3 weeks without food, about 3 days without water, about 3 hours without shelter in severe weather, about 3 minutes without air, and about 3 seconds against a zombie. So while learning to fight zombies might be the single most critical survival skill in a zombie apocalypse, unless you're able to find shelter, clean drinking water, and food, you may not live long enough to need those skills. So today, self-defense against the wilderness, and next time, self-defense against the zombies. Presuming you have an adequate supply of fresh air, your first priority should be to shelter yourself against severe weather and poisonous insects and animals. This can be as simple as wearing the right clothing, like boots and sleeves, and having dry clothes to change into, or avoiding tall grasses and swampy areas, and finding natural cover from the rain and the sun and the wind. But it might also be necessary to build a shelter. Tents are an effective solution, but even something as simple as a plastic tarp and some clothesline or cordage and some tent stakes or rocks can make a critical difference in inclement conditions. Oh, and avoid doing anything that might encourage insects or small animals to try to seek shelter in your shelter, like leaving your boots in the grass or hanging your jacket on a tree or leaving your pack or tent sitting open. So the rental market in Dublin is really getting out of control. Our bodies are made up of around 2/3 water, and when exposed to extreme weather, that water is quickly used up. If you don't replenish it, you'll become dehydrated, and soon after that, get sick and die. So once you've taken steps to conserve the water that's already in your body by sheltering yourself from extreme weather, your next priority is to locate a sustainable supply of drinkable water. Now, rainwater is safe to drink, so living in Ireland really gives an advantage here. Just set out containers and catch what you can. You can also use a cloth or a sponge or some moss to soak up rainwater from puddles or rain gutters. Now, some of this water is going to be a bit dirty, so it wouldn't hurt to filter it through a few layers of cloth or the moss before you drink it. If you collect water from lakes, streams, ponds, or rivers, in addition to filtering it, you should also decontaminate it. One way to do this is by drinking it through a life straw, which uses a microfilter to eliminate bacteria and parasites. Life straws do not, however, filter viruses. So if your water supply might be contaminated with the zombie virus or some other virus, you can decontaminate it with chlorine tablets or household bleach. For purification tablets, follow the instructions on the package. For bleach, add 2 drops of regular unscented household bleach per liter or quart of water. After 30 minutes, it should smell slightly like chlorine. If it doesn't, or if it still looks a little suspicious, add 2 more drops and give it another 15 minutes. But the best way to decontaminate water is to boil it. A rolling boil for 1 minute or 3 minutes at high altitude will kill everything in the water that isn't already dead. But don't feel bad. It's either them or you. All of which brings us to fire. Not only does fire make it possible to decontaminate water and food, but as everyone knows, some zombies are extremely flammable. Fire can also help you get dry and stay warm and keep wild animals at bay. The smoke also repels insects and can allow you to communicate across long distances, which can be good or bad, of course, depending on your circumstances. So if you're trying to keep your location secret, only build fires after dark. Starting the fire is the trickiest part, and for this, ideally, you'll have waterproof matches or a plastic lighter or some flint and steel. And once you have a spark or a flame, you'll need some sort of kindling. You can find plenty in nature, like dried grass or birch bark, but if you're struggling to find something dry and flammable, like an empty egg carton, then you can use duct tape or alcohol wipes or hand sanitizer or cotton balls or cotton swabs, which burn great, and if they're smeared with Vaseline or chapstick, then they'll burn even longer. From mushrooms to chestnuts and from blackberries to dandelions, there are plenty of ways to scavenge food in the wild. But if you don't know exactly what you've scavenged, don't even think about eating it. One little mistake can have enormous consequences. If you do know what it is, keep in mind the basic rule. Cook it, boil it, peel it, or forget it. It's better to go hungry for a while than to end up sick and dehydrated in the wild. So once you've got a good fire going, roast some food on a sharpened stick, or put some cans or veggies with peels right into the hot coals. With a fire blazing, veggies roasting, dry socks, a cozy shelter, and plenty of clean water, what could possibly go wrong? And that's all for today, Apocalypse Scouts. To complete your virtual Wilderness Survival Merit Badge, share a wilderness survival tip in the comments below. Now like and subscribe and repeat the Apocalypse Scouts oath. Hope for the best, prepare for the apocalypse. Happy trails till next time, and remember, when you gaze long into the apocalypse also gazes into you.
Let's gather around the campfire and sing our campfire song.